boys, just want to get you an update. I did a video recently on what's going on with trucking, and I gave you my side. Never really talked about the backside of the story, so I figured I'd share it with you. Once again, I don't have any degrees in economy. I just have 10 years in the trucking, that's it. So if you don't want to hear me, just hang up. Other than that, I have an opinion to share and my ideas on what's really going on. That's it. So hang tight. I talked about the cleansing process, the good cleansing process, and it has to be there. Here's the deal. This is the way I see it, and it's just like I said, everyone's entitled to opinion, so here you go. Just like anything, whatever you do in life, you gather a bunch of stuff, you work a bunch of things, and then at a certain time you stop and you organize and you're, refilter, restack, whatever. You get where I'm going with this. You got to reconfigure the whole deal. You got to rethink the process. You got to restructure your system. Everything needs to get upfreshed and cleaned out. So that's what happens with trucking. On top of that, I think that's what happens with trucking probably every 4 to 5 years. I want to say 8, but it's not really 8. It's 4 to 5. Sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes it's smaller. On top of that, what happened recently is the ELD enforcement. So that alone did its number. So while the trucking industry is going through its own process, the ELD gets enforced. Okay, so this is the underlying fact that I wanted to talk about. So when the ELD got enforced, a lot of guys dropped out. They watched how the industry is going to go. At that point, when they dropped out, there's a shortage in trucks. So brokers, shippers, customers had no choice but to pay you more to haul their product. Because as I've said in the recent one, I was talking about steel. I was using the $800 example. What does $800 really mean if you're going to haggle back and forth over a couple $100? I gave a guy a bid of $800 and he was trying to get a better deal. There's nothing wrong with asking, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch my other video, what's going on with trucking. I think that's how I labeled it. The thing is, I was talking about steel and how, if this, for example, a couple beams don't come in or the staircase doesn't come in, he has a whole crew sitting around. I'm in the temperature controlled reefer division of the trucking industry, 18-wheeler, so that's a lot of food. You like it or not, you're on a diet or you're going out on a rampage of gaining weight, you gotta eat, little or a lot, you gotta eat. So the food needs to get transported. So having that, in mind when the industry's down, so when there's a shortage of trucks and you're trying to ship apples and your apples are sitting there for a while, they go bad and then you have nothing. If anything, you got a big negative bill because not only do you have a bill for growing those things, pull them off the trees, now you got to go dump them. So, you could use that analogy with anything, right? Potatoes, tomatoes, we just do a lot of apples and a little bit of cherries. So, if any hauled cherries, that goes real quick too. So, shortage of trucks, you get the equation. It's you like it or not, you got to pay up to get your products moved. Now, same thing goes the other way around. Right now, in the current moment, of July 2019, there's abundance of trucks. There really is. But keep in mind, when they enforce the ELD, bless you, hon. By the way, guys, if you hear some kiddos in the background, I got my whole family with me. My wife's taking care of them. Just so you know. Yes, Dave, the guy that rolls around on his electric Ram and his scooter, always screaming, "Hey guys," in my videos. He's in the back seat there. So as I was saying, when the ELDs got enforced, they got enforced on the years of 2000 and up and all the semis. Now the guys that had older equipment, they were exempt from it. So call it a loophole or whatever, but they keep trying to get this whole ELD turned over on the small companies, but I think those guys at the beginning of next year are going to be enforced to have some kind of automatic tracking device as well. So it's not going to do a huge impact like the first ELD mandate had, but it's still going to do its thing. And I believe it's going to happen end of this year. And the reason I say I believe, because, man, they keep protesting and they're trying to turn things over, and other people are trying to get things set in stone, and It's a big old mess. And until they say it's the law, I'll just keep my, hold my horses. Just keep an eye on stuff. So with this next thing coming up, where all the 2000 and older trucks are required to do, it's gonna slow down the industry just a little bit. A small shortage of trucks going to come back around. That's when the rates are going to go up. That's a side note. Okay, that's the side note. That's the side indication. The biggest thing, just like any organism, like I said about people need to go on a date and cleansing their bodies. Okay, let's just stick with that analogy. You could work out, you could do all this great stuff, you could eat all this healthy food, but at a certain point, your body needs to go through a cleansing process. Same thing goes with trucking. That's all it goes to it. That's all there is to it. And then on the backside, little things like a few years ago, I think in 14, the railroad up in Wenatchee, the railroad broke or something. Something happened. Trails, wagons started derailing. I'm not very good at trains, but so a lot of product was shipped by rail, and when the rail system was shut down up there in Wenatchee, man, it demanded a lot of trucks. So you guys got to keep all that in mind. That's what drives the price up and down. Yeah, you're gonna say the market. Yeah, this. I feel like trucking is really detached from another aspect. Yeah, as much as just as much as you got the global economy and all that. In a lot of cases, like housing might be up and then trucking is down, or vice versa. Trucking is down right now and housing is kicking butt, that kind of thing. So there you have it. That's what I think, and that's what I think you guys should be watching for, little telltale signs. The major supplier in your state, like I do food, so I know my apples and all the shebang. So if the crops weren't that great, they're gonna have to start pulling from another state. Well, that requires trucks in another state, not in my state. And if I'm out of Washington, and Washington didn't produce good products this year, well, I'm sort of out of luck at that point. You see what I'm saying? So it's yeah, you got demand, obviously the basics of economy, but then you got uncontrollable factors, and if it churns on a dime on you, and what are you gonna do? So keep that in mind, guys. Once again, I'm talking from the reefer side of things, and that's the way I see it, that's the way I understand it, and that's the way I'm presenting it to you. Hopefully this video helped you guys possibly get a better picture, and keeping this kind of stuff in mind, that's what helps you figure out the future, the near future, what's going to happen or what's coming your way. Other than that, that's about it. Alrighty, boys, I think my girl needs a little bit of help back there. I think mom's struggling with her. So as always, may the Lord bless you. May y'all have a mighty fine day, and I'm going to go hang out with Rachel, I guess. Bye.